Hello, this is the seventh video of Hydra coding challenge, and again I'm going to recode something from this Recode project, which is an archive of magazine Computer Graphics and Art from 1970s. Let's get started. So I'm a bit ambitious today. I was a bit conservative, trying to do something that I can see it's possible. But what about this one today? Well, combinatorial framework of the Ordinal 15. I'm not sure if okay, so disclaimer, I don't think I will make the exact thing, but I'll try to make something similar. And let's say I'll try to spend like 20 minutes, good 20 minutes, and see where we go. Okay, so I would like to show the image here, and I go to the editor. So, of course, as always, I start with oscillator and probably threshold it. Stop it, and so the dark part is more dominant. Then I need to make this threshold bigger. If you do the other way around, you end up with more white region. So yeah, I said like something like 9, and okay. So what's the strategy? I think there are few components. So let's kind of divide it into grids. And let's take the middle one, and let's forget about this border thingy around the cell. But let's just make something like this. Is this possible? Let's see. Actually, there are so many elements. Like, I thought this center cell is identical to the left one, but this one has some dots in it. Okay, let's try to make something in the middle. So I would say, should I start with this or should I start with noise? Not sure. The static noise, and if I do thresh, again, noise is from -1 to 1, so thresh 0 sounds a little bit stupid, but it actually yields something like this. Now, how would I make a border? I think there are different ways to do it, but I think this most intuitive way would be doing subtracting, like taking diff with the same function, but maybe slightly shifted threshold. Good. So this is already something like that. I would make maybe a little bit less. Yeah. I mean, you can argue like this one, the original one has more circular and straight components, but it's quite difficult to do it in Hydra. Okay, that's a compromise. I have to move on. So that's one thing. And let's just, I should increase the size a little bit. Let's keep going. So how can I make the ones that are here, or here, 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 the lines? So it's the same principle. I think I would use the oscillator, but it's related. Just have horizontal lines. Good. And maybe make it dense. Sure. Now, what I want to do here is to mask it with, let's take the same noise, because I like that. Okay, it's already there. I mean, it's different, but you can get the idea. So now, there's another one that is like this thingy, which is This is more challenging. Like, so the first two are quite straightforward. You can see that essentially it's just oscillator that is masked, or noise subtracting, or taking a diff with another noise, or same noise but different threshold. This is quite straightforward. If you read Hydra book, I think it's somewhat easy. So these ones, now I want to try, because these ones are a little bit more complicated. And actually, if you look closer, it looks like these cells, the one with the vertical lines, it kind of looks similar in the other cells. This weird border thingy looks like it's just a mask, like a cutout of these horizontal vertical line cells. Let's see how I can do it. So I think I would just start with the same idea as the first one, well, the second one. Now the order is flipped. The oscillator, but maybe I wouldn't rotate and I wouldn't put the mask on it. Okay, so how, like, what would be the strategy to make this different density of lines? And I think the answer is to use modulate scale. Modulate scale is a weird one. It's difficult to use. But so how I want to do it is modulate scale kind of stretches or changes the scale according to the modulator's color value of R and G corresponds to X and Y. So what if I do oscillator? Of course, it has to be static in my case. What if, okay, I need to rotate this for sure. Because if you look at this pattern is kind of, yeah, you get what you mean, you get what I mean. Let's see how it goes. So this is different. It's not, it looks far from what I want to achieve. But let's say I do posterize. Oh, this is German keyboard, by the way. And suddenly it looks like what I want to do compared to this one. I mean, not completely, but kind of similar. And it has to be more dense. So if you want to make it denser, of course you can change the oscillator, the kind of root oscillator. But also, yeah, maybe this is okay. The other way I was thinking is to change. So the default parameter of modulate scale is 1, 1. This means the last one is the offset. So it's always like times scaling by 1 plus the modulator's color times this one. This is the multiplier. And if you make this one bigger, then you can see that the stretched ones are even more stretched. But let's say if you want to make this part dense, like not this stretched one even more stretched, but these ones squished, then what you can do is, of course this is one way to do that. Oh, actually this is good enough. Okay, let's keep it like that. The one way I was thinking is like taking the negative number, which also ends up in an interesting result. There are different ways to do that, as you just saw. Maybe I keep it like this. And one thing I don't like is in the original one, it looks like the kind of the steps are the same. Like it's changing the scale with the same Y gap interval. And in this case, it's not, because I'm using oscillator as a kind of seed for scaling. And it doesn't work well because posterize has some kind of gamma value that maybe I can just work on it to make it thought it might be possible, but no, it's not possible. Then how would I do that? I don't want to use this way, but for example, some crazy people might use gradient. Gradient has, you can easily make a sawtooth, yeah, by repeating this. In this case, it's in y direction, maybe 4 times. And then you have to take g value, because green value, because that's the changing value in y direction. Wow. I know this is like kind of black magic, but gradient is actually super helpful, super useful. Is this okay? Yeah, sure. I would say it's okay. And the other thing is, like, it's kind of modulated. It's actually, this picture, if you look at it, no one did a translation in processing. And it might be actually complicated in processing because you have to really handcraft every different cell, sort of. But in Hydra, if you don't try to make it like super perfect, then actually you can do something like fun stuff like this. Okay, I forgot what I was saying. What did I want to do? Modulate. So I would just take or just modulate with oscillator. And I always add color, because if I do like this, then it's like also squishing in X direction. So I want to only take green value, which is the Y direction. It's kind of okay. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. What if I do noise instead? Uh-oh. No, this doesn't work. Yeah, maybe I make it a little bit more subtle. Yeah, this is cheating. Because I think what I really need to do is modulate with oscillator, but it's actually multiplied with this one. Yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, this looks a little bit more similar to what's here, kind of, because, is it? Let's say yes. Because now this kind of modulation changes according to the kind of gap of these lines. Let's see, this is okay. And so now I have 3 variations. One is this, second one is this, and the last one is this. And somehow I need to combine them. And also, like, as I said, I feel like this last one, if I take mask of this with shape 4.80 invert, then I can make a window. And I want to somehow use it in every cell, if that's possible. I mean, of course I can repeat it, right? But then if I repeat, then every cell ends up in the same pattern. Like that's just duplicating, right? That's not what I want. So maybe I should actually start with, okay, this may not be the best way to do it. Let's forget about the window. I just want this, and also this solid out, which is just black. This also happens here, but maybe it's okay, because if you don't have anything that's a solid, like blank sketch is like also solid 0, 0, 0, kind of. So yeah. So I want this first. Should I repeat it? It's more like modulating scale. It's more like repeat this part. Does it make sense? No. I thought it would make sense, but no. Well, but then I end up with almost same as repeating afterwards. Or maybe just make everything dense enough. Oh yeah, it's the same idea. Oh, okay. Because I'm trying to make it more like repeated pattern, but more in a randomized fashion. But that may not be possible. So anyways, I just take this. I just take this, this, this. Maybe I need to make a noise more dense. Okay. The thing is, I was thinking like, what if I just like mask it with noise? 9, 0, and again, pixelate. So repeat and pixelate go really like hand in hand. Repeat is like duplicating the same thing. Pixelate would make also a grid, but it's not repetition, and every window has the same color. So in this case, like 3, 3, and then do refresh. Yeah, then you have 4 windows, but maybe a bit less than I want. Okay, that's not bad. And what if I do the same trick with this one? And it doesn't make sense if I do use the same noise, because then this and this has them on the same spot. So instead I want to shift it a bit. I don't know. Maybe thresh a little bit more. This is really handcrafting. Okay. And then, of course, what I want is chain them by layer. Boom. So that seems like we're getting there. And I would do almost the same thing with the third one, which is this. I would do this. It actually looks okay. Maybe modulate, I would modulate a little bit more. Yeah. And noise can be, I don't know, something. And then again, chain them. Layer here. Nesting layer can be a bit weird. End up in a weird situation. I don't know, like there are some pull requests and stuff, so maybe it's solved. But I would chain layer. So you have layer, and after layer is, so this corresponds to this here. So this is the layer, and then chain another layer instead of having layer inside another layer, whatever. So now it's getting really funny, because Why is it? It's getting really funny because some textures are kind of overlapping with each other. Why? I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes... Does it make sense? Does it even make sense? I have no idea. It doesn't make sense. But also I want to find somewhere to finish this video. Yeah. So what do you think? This is okay-ish. We can say it's okay. What's like these things are doing weird stuff. This is doing weird stuff. And I feel it's related to negative color and noise? No. That's not true. I don't know why. Is this close enough to this? I want to make the kind of the framing. And also I want to scale it in the end, as always, to make it a bit nicer. So it's quite nice. The last thing I want to do is somehow I want to add the frame to it. And this is, so the way how I see it is, first in this one I want to kind of mask it, like to shrink it down a bit so that they don't have the window, the frame in each cell. And then I have another layer that has the framing. Let's see. So I would work with this mask part of every single mask. Something like mult, shape, 4, repeat, 3, 3. No. I don't know, I think it's working. It's just that the shape 4 has to have frame like, I don't know, 90%. Yeah. And I just have to, it's a messy code, but this goes there. And now I notice that, I mean, in this video, probably you can't see it anyways. So sorry, but okay. So now this is kind of cool because now every cell has, they're shrank or shrunk, I don't know. And now in the end, I want to add, or at first, I don't know, I want to add basically the same thing as this. Dot layer, and I know you can't see the entire code, but that's okay. So it's just chaining layer and layer and layer. But instead, in the first part of the code, instead of this mult shape repeat, I would invert this. So you have the frame magically. And I think one more thing I would do is to change, wait a second. Yeah, I would change some parameters in there so that, like if they're aligned, like in this one on the right, because the frame and the inside, the content are actually the same texture, so it kind of, you don't see the border of the frame and the center. So I want to see that. How? Maybe just change this gradient repeat. Yep, simple. So one last thing, I want to animate it. Probably with noise inside layers. Like these, no, yes, these ones. I know you can't see it, but I add same animation to other noise. Yes, now you can see, and I even animate the mask of, oh no, what? Oh no, I was doing something weird. this is the frame part. Frame part doesn't need the noise frame. Noise. Yeah. Now it looks better. Whatever. And I want to add this animation to the cells, so they're actually changing the position, or more like changing the filtering. So it's kind of similar. The only big issue is that sometimes they collide. Like in one cell, they try to draw two layers because if I add more code, like masking and masking and masking, probably I can avoid it, but I think it's too much, and it's kind of interesting how it looks like. So I would say this is okay, and I would finish the video like this. Now I feel something wrong about the frame, because if you look at this, the frame is not continuous, but maybe it's okay. You really care? Okay. And modulate it. Modulate the frame by, I know it's hard for you to read the code, but it's really hard for me to read the code as well. Noise. This one I make it static. And then what I want to do is pixelate 3 and with 1. And the color is 0, 1. So I want to kind of shuffle the cells in Y direction, but just a frame, so that it doesn't, right now the problem is that they look kind of continuous, but I will avoid it by adding a little bit of modulation. And it's, or maybe color doesn't have to be 0. Yeah, I think it's nice. Now you see kind of discontinuity in each frame, and that's nice. Maybe I should do the same thing with the inside of the cell, cells inside the frame. Basically, I just add here, maybe I change the noise so that it has a little bit more variety, and there you go. It's very interesting, I have to say. So I'm very happy about this. Maybe I would even animate the oscillator inside the cells. So I'm very happy, and of course you can somehow improve this sketch for sure. But if you have something you want to share, please write in the comment. And thank you everyone for the support. It's your comments, feedback. That's really like motivation for me to continue this series. And if you have suggestions or questions, whatever, just write to me or in the comments so that I can answer you, hopefully. See you in the next video. Bye.